gotten all ready for Halloween, which means October is upon us. It's time for Socktober. This is going to be my first year actually knitting socks in October for Socktober and doing a collaboration playlist thing with Yenta from Mindwalden. I'll make sure I link the playlist. We're doing Roll for Socktober. So we're adding an element of surprise and chaos to our sock knitting. I have this sock knitting masterclass book that I ordered last year and have not yet knit out of. So I looked through here to decide on what pattern I was going to use. Obviously, these thigh highs on the front would be fabulous, but don't know if I have enough leftover yarn to actually make it through 2 pairs of thigh high socks, and that would probably take me more than just 1 month. So the design I chose is this up-down Entrelac pattern by Catherine Alexander, and I have never done Entrelac. So we're going to learn some new things with this because this is a toe-up construction. I've done that once, but I've never done Entrelac. And also, even though it says toe-up, it's actually kind of a combination. Like you knit from the cuff here, and then you knit from the toe up, and then they join somewhere in the middle. So that should be interesting. We're going to roll the dice for each color of the triangles / stripes. So it's not going to end up being as colorful as the example photos. I don't have a whole rainbow of sock colors, but I picked out the ones that I thought would look the best together. I guess I'm more of a controlled chaos person. I don't actually own a 10-sided die. We might be going this week to the game store because my kids are like, ooh, that would be fun to have all these cool dice. So we might be picking up a cool dice set. So for now, I'm going to have to use a virtual dice roller. We've got our sock pattern. We've got our yarn board and, bag with the actual yarns in them. And also, I really need to make a zippered pouch for my little DPNs. I like knitting my socks on DPNs the best. That's the most comfortable for me, but I'm always losing. I'm always losing my DPNs, so I have a bunch of mix match sets, which I know is the terrible thing to do because different brands might have slightly different diameters, but we're just gonna have to roll with it. The pattern says to start with size 2 needles for the cuff. A lot of times I use 0s and 1s on my socks. I guess we'll just go with the pattern, and I guess if I have to redo a sock, I have to redo a sock. What is our first color gonna be? Insert die roll here. Okay, our die roll is a 10, which is this gray. I guess I'll get casting on and see if I can follow these instructions. Okay, so it looks like we are starting with an invisible provisional cast on, also called Twisty Wrap Method by Meg Swanson. Have not done this before. So I need a strand of waste yarn. Okay, I guess we're gonna give this a go. Wish me luck. What are we doing? It says, make a loose slip knot of the working yarn and place it on the right needle. Okay, slip knot. Check. Contrasting waste yarn. Okay, 2 yarns. Murphy! Murphy, Murph, Murph! Okay, I think I got six stitches. I think I get it right. Okay, we casted on our stitches. I hope the right way. Hoping I can even get this started without it falling to pieces. Is that 6 stitches? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 6 stitches. Yay, 2 rows and we didn't lose any stitches. Haha. Okay, what are we doing now? Now we gotta work a triangle, and then we'll need another color. Okay, I'm gonna work the triangle, and then we'll check back in to roll for our next color. I made a triangle, yay! Well, okay, tiny triangle, hard to see on camera. But just looking at it, it looks like my I don't like how loose the fabric's looking, so before I get any further, I'm just going to switch to my size 1 needles, and then we'll just use size 1 and size 0 instead of size 2 and size 1. Since I know that's worked for me better in the past with socks, I'm just going to do it. You know, I could actually make a gauge swatch, but we'll live a little on the edge. I don't know how well you can see, but I'm very much happier with the fabric of that with the size 1s. So I will go and roll for the next color. Here, ta-da! What's our dice roll? We got number 9. Okay, so we're going black. I guess our first row of triangles are going to be gray and black triangles. Of course, one thing I am dreading with all these color changes, it's going to be so many ends to weave in at the end. Wah, wah, wah. Wonder if you could manage to get a self-striping sock yarn whose color changes. No. Well, I guess if you had 2 balls, right, to switch between, that would be kind of interesting for the future. I guess if you did 1 variegated and 1 solid color, could also be interesting. Anyways, project at hand. Don't get sidetracked by ideas for other projects. We're just barely starting this one. How far I got on my sock yesterday on the road trip. Oops. Okay, so we got little crazy triangles on the top and some more triangles going on. The Entrelac's been pretty fun. Definitely slower than, you know, knitting a stockinette sock, but I'm excited for how this is going. Day yesterday, so much fun. Let's see, when we got there close to 10 o'clock, we just wandered into the place where they were judging the fleeces, and I could not believe I have not watched fleece judging before. It was so informative and so much fun because the judge, she was funny, and she really made a point of explaining and answering questions about her judgments about the fleece. And honestly, I could have stayed all day and watched her judge because it was just so much fun. But I did leave, and I went and, well, I bought a few things. Technically 3 things. Okay, I bought a supported spindle. It was my first supported spindle. I've been so influenced by Yenta Meinwolden and her Discord. A bunch of people have such beautiful support spindles, and so, you know, I've been wanting one. Plus, you know, Yenta's videos about her support spindles. But I hadn't encountered any vendors this year when I was really thinking harder about it. There weren't any vendors at Black Sheep with supported spindles. Just the Jenkins with their beautiful Turkish spindles, which I also have not tried yet, but someday I will definitely get a Jenkins spindle. Maybe next year. Goals for next year: buy a Jenkins spindle. Yes. Anyways, so I got this beautiful supported spindle that I was so excited to try out last night from Bill's Workshop. Shout out to them. And, you know, of course, I had to get a spinning bowl to go with it, right? Yes. And then, well, I told myself that was the only thing I was buying. But then, of course, I came across another treasure that I just had to take home with me. These beautiful glass buttons from JM Studios. They're birds. I mean, she had all kinds of different designs, and they were all so beautiful. But the bird with the bird nest and the bird egg, I just couldn't leave behind. So yes, that's what I bought. And then I did that, and then I watched some of the sheepdog trials and the shearing demonstrations, because those are always so fun.
What he's doing right now is called driving. You might have noticed a lot of our handlers are constantly having the dog break the sheep with them. That's called fetching. And our organization, so our dogs are always bringing sheep to So a lot of
she's gonna kick me no matter what I do, so I'm just gonna do it. Yeah. Don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody if it's not perfect.
And they also had circular sock machine, people doing circular sock machine and flatbed knitting. So I went and had so much fun chatting with those ladies. I do not own a circular sock machine yet, but of course, of course I've been like, ooh, that would be so much fun, but they're expensive. Yeah. So unless one sometimes falls into my lap, there was a lady who had a 3D printed one that I've seen the plans for and stuff, and talking with her makes me think, I really should put that on the list of projects to do. After I finally add the shafts to my floor, my table loom converted to a floor loom, I need to add 4, not shafts, I have the shafts. I need to add the 4 treadles and the thing that connects to the treadles, and I'm forgetting lambs, so that I can use it as an 8 shaft floor loom. Okay, that's gonna be my first big project. Need to get that big project done before I go, building a sock machine. I had a fun time chatting with the flatbed knitting machines. Shout out to Kamala. Let me know if you're here in the comments. It was so fun meeting you. And that was my day. And sock update. I did get some sock knitting done while I was watching the judging and the demonstrations, the sheepdog and stuff, and the shearing. And so, I know this is really hard to show, but anyways, yesterday morning I was here finished. I had about halfway of these rectangle, the yellow ones here, done. So I got all the rest of that done yesterday. So it's now down to the ankle. And so then last night before I went to bed, I got the toe started. So now it switches from cuff to ankle, and then I gotta do toe up, and then they get joined. Very interesting construction. So maybe tonight after our competition, I got it all ready. Gotta go eat breakfast in like 2 minutes. Gotta go eat breakfast and get ready for the sheep to shawl competition. It's gonna be, hopefully it goes well. I think this is gonna be our biggest, the competition with the most competitors that we've done in person before. So we're all excited and, maybe a little nervous and high strung. We are getting ready for our sheep to shawl. Here's Angela from Yarn Church. I'll make sure I tag you or at you or whatever the thing is.
Whatever.
Okay, it's about 9:10, so we've got like 50 minutes before we start at 10 o'clock. There's our team set up, all ready for the competition. Woo!
Go Jim!
So we ended up with a disappointing result of our sheep to shawl competition at Lambtown. Her shawl ended up being like 3 inches short of the minimum size requirement. Wah, wah, wah. It did turn out beautiful, like the shawl itself, and the judge really liked it. We were just disqualified. Although of the 6 teams, only 2 of the teams ended up meeting the minimum size requirement, so it wasn't just a us problem. And shout out to the winning team, who I think it was their first time doing that. They had a really beautiful shawl, so congratulations. And the highlight of the competition was the team across the way from us was a team of high schoolers. They were all like 15 and 16. I guess one of them had started a weaving club at their high school last year, and then within, I think it was the beginning of the school year, they learned to spin. And most of them just had equipment like they found in the, like in the school storage or something. So it was like a really old loom that only kind of half worked, and they were having problems with some of their spinning wheels and stuff, but they persevered, and I think the minimum size length was like supposed to be 72 inches, and I think they got like something like 36 inches woven. And everyone was so helpful and kind. Everyone was so encouraging and trying to help them, solve the problems they were having. And some of the local teams that, some of the teams that were a little bit more local to them were, giving them info on, hey, come join us for, this event and things. So that was really, really fun to see. And yeah, so it was kind of, some up and downs, some really fun times, some frustrating and disappointment. But overall, it was lovely, as fiber festivals pretty much always are. So now tomorrow we get to drive home. Yay! So more sock knitting time. Woo woo. Back to Oregon. I'm not quite home yet. Just made it to my friend's house who drove. So now I gotta drive hopefully less than an hour, get home. Tell my kids good night and get in bed because I'm tired. It is October 13th, so we're almost halfway through Socktober. I've got almost 1 full sock. Look, it's a sock. The top sock. It's a top half of sock and a bottom half of sock. Now they need a heel. That's such a funny construction. I had hoped that by the 13th of October I would have been farther than just almost a sock. But obviously, if I was doing vanilla socks, we would definitely have a whole sock, and yeah, definitely more than 1 whole sock done, because that's just stuck in the round. But why do something easy when I can do something crazy like learning to do Entrelac on socks? It's actually been pretty fun so far, albeit slower. I did for a little bit try the knitting backwards, so you don't have to flip it back and forth. A friend, thank you Jane for reminding me that exists, but I don't know if it's just because of the size of the needles or whatever, or just different. I just felt like it was making my hand kind of cramp in a weird way, so I will have to practice that more, but probably on not a sock. Yeah, I didn't really record anything last week after Lambtown. It was like such a high, and then come back to normal life, and then I'm like plus fall time, my moods get kind of lots of up and down anyways. Yeah. Yay for anxiety and depression. Look, it's a sock. Now time to see if I can figure out how we join this. I was gonna do this last night and then I decided that maybe I shouldn't do that when I'm tired. We'll wait till morning and better light and okay, it's afternoon. Okay, let's make sure that this is flat so that our toe and heel match up. We don't end up with a wonky. No wonky socks here, please. Okay. Come. Yes, good. Come. Sit. And stay. Okay, I want you to stay here by me. Okay, stay. Can you help me count to 28? Will that distract you from what? Alrighty, well, we have sock. Yay, sock is done, except that sadly it's a little bit of a sock fail. I think it's fixable, but we got a problem. Honestly, I should have known this was going to be a problem and accounted for it before I did the heel. Don't know if it's showing up, but it's very tight along here. Part of it is I followed the instructions for joining these two, but I had to do a 3 needle bind off for the top instep steps, which I should have known better. It's just not very stretchy, obviously, because a 3 needle bind off is like great for shoulders to give it stability. So I'm gonna definitely have to undo this. I'm pretty sure I should be able to like graft them together, right? Like Kitchener or whatever. Grafting, yeah. That was going to be there. And then it's just the heel. Oh, okay. Let's see. I don't know if you can see how stretched out those stitches are. It's just too small. Not enough stitches. I do have a pretty, I don't know, high instep or whatever. I should have known that I was going to need to add more stitches there on the heel to modify it, because when I do a flap and gusset, I always have to, you know, make my flap longer, taller than what like instructions say to account for that. So I should have known. But I got too excited and too caught up in the excitement of the rolling for the colors, and I am happy with the otherwise the fit I think is pretty good. Yeah, I think I was worried that it was going to be too small because it's only 54 stitches. 54, 56, I don't know, a lot less. Usually, I think most of the socks I've made are like between 68 and 72 stitches, depending on whether they're color work or not. Yeah, so like 54 stitches was like, that just seems way too small, but obviously the Entrelac must have a bigger gauge. Okay, and then I don't know how long term, like the top of the sock, sock. Like obviously it doesn't have any ribbing. So I was worried about it being super slouchy, but I mean, I think it's never gonna be, I think it'll fit okay. But yeah, I gotta address, I'm rambling. Gotta address the heel. I did look up one blog where it talked about adding like a mini gusset. So then I would add like stitches here and then do the short row heel. So I was watching Roxanne Richardson. Yeah. I watched a couple of her videos on fixing the fit of short row heels. And I think what I would try there is the increasing the heel stitches. Anyway, so I guess I'm gonna need to decide whether I'm going to do the increase the heel stitches or try the mini gusset. I don't know. Gotta decide. But I guess first things first, I need to undo this so I can think about what I'm gonna do while we're taking the stitches apart. Taking the heel. So we redid the sock heel and it's you know, definitely you can see that it used more yarn, so definitely added length, but still okay. I think the fit on the heel is really good and it's comfortable to wear now, and I did just a Kitchener stitch when I joined them together instead of that three needle bind off, so that's a lot more comfortable, but still got some fit issues. So we've got the increased heel depth there, probably, I don't know, probably added almost an inch there. And so as the sock feels comfortable on my foot, but the stitches, it definitely needs more stitches here as well. So it needed more depth in the, I keep wanting to say ankle, but I needed more depth on the heel, but it also really needs some extra stitches on my instep. This part of my foot. They're really stretched out along here. So, and even these ones in this row are a little bit strained. Yeah. And I mean, yeah, there it's all really stretched. Stretchy stitches all along here. Okay, so clearly, because of these fit issues, clearly I'm not getting 2 socks done in October. So I think really what I'm going to need to do is take this apart again and somehow add more stitches in here. But I'm not completely sure how to do that. So my thinking is that I'm going to go ahead and start the second sock and kind of play around with the second sock of how to add the stitches that I need to make this wider. So I think I'm going to figure out how to work that out on my second sock, and then I can go back and redo the first sock. Clearly that's not happening before the end of October, but yeah, in conclusion for this video, we're gonna end on we have almost 1 sock, but it's not quite fitting. I could wear this sock, but it's gonna bug me that it's not quite fitting how it should. So then that makes me feel like, well, if I don't fix it, then I don't really want to make a second sock that's also not fitting right. So I guess we're just going to take more time to get the second sock to fit right and redo the... Now I'm just rambling. Yeah. Blah, blah, conclusion of the video. Thanks for watching. No, no, we need something more than that. So yeah, so first, this video, almost sock. I'll catch up with you next week and we'll see how much progress we've made on the second sock, and I guess sometime in the future when it's not Socktober we'll have to reveal the final project. Plan, maybe. Thanks for watching. I was at first kind of feeling like this was just a fail and I should just give up and not move on. Okay, when I first saw how badly the sock was fitting, I was feeling like, well, I'm just going to abandon it and it shall be an orphan sock that doesn't really fit. But I do really like the look of this. Okay, the top cuff I'm a little ambiguous on. I really am like, what? There should be ribbing. I don't know about this whole no ribbing on the top of my sock. And it's so goofy with these little crazy triangles. Really goofy. But I really am enjoying how this looks. So I feel like I might in future, once I hopefully finish these socks. Like I could see myself in the future maybe doing this part of the sock and then just, you know, doing a normal plain like stockinette, whatever, on the upper half with regular ribbing. I could see that because I think these triangles are so fun. Well, thanks for watching. Oh my gosh, I cannot for the life of me think of what I'm trying to say to conclude this video. Maybe I should write a script next time. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this crazy sock. Leave me a comment, like or subscribe or whatever you want to do. And hopefully in the next video I will have more to show than this. And definitely I do not think the Entrelac socks will be my go-to like sock pattern, but it's been fun. Anyways, thanks for watching. I hope you come back for the next time. Bye.